All right, we're about to dive into an absolutely brutal story from the ancient text of 2 Kings. It's a high-stakes tale of imperial power versus national survival. A story of two kingdoms, one unstoppable superpower and a completely impossible choice. And really, that's the question at the heart of this whole thing. When an empire with overwhelming, terrifying force is on your border, what do you even do? What choices do you really have? This was the life-or-death problem facing the kingdoms of Israel and Judah. So to get what's going on, you first have to meet the villain of our story, the massive, always expanding, and totally ruthless Assyrian Empire. We're in the late 8th century BC, and Assyria's shadow is just falling across the entire region, and it's threatening everyone, including the two smaller, divided kingdoms of Israel and Judah.
Okay, so the beginning of the end for the northern kingdom starts around 725 BC. The Assyrian king, a guy named Shalmaneser V, surrounds their capital city, Samaria. But this wasn't a quick attack. No. This was a patient, brutal strategy, basically just waiting to starve an entire city until it gave up.
And the text itself is just brutally clear about what happened. After 3 long years, the city falls. You'll notice it even mentions that this happened during the 6th year of King Hezekiah's reign in the southern kingdom, which is a detail that really anchors this whole story in a very specific moment in time.
But here's the thing about the Assyrians. Conquest wasn't just about winning a battle for them. It was about totally rewriting the map. The fall of the northern kingdom, that was only the beginning of the nightmare for its people.
Instead of just putting a new governor in charge, the Assyrians had this policy of mass deportation. I mean, they literally uprooted the Israelite population and scattered them all across their massive empire to places they'd never heard of, like Hala and Habor. And this wasn't just random cruelty, you know? It was a cold, calculated imperial strategy. They called it population exchange. The whole point was to just shatter a people's identity, completely erase their history, and make sure they could never rise up and rebel. And honestly, it was a terrifyingly effective way to run an empire. Now, it's really important to see how the writer of 2 Kings explains this catastrophe. From their point of view, this wasn't just geopolitics. This was divine judgment. The destruction of Israel is framed as the direct result of them breaking their sacred covenant with God. So, with the northern kingdom completely gone, wiped off the map, the story now shifts south. We fast forward about 2 decades, and now the southern kingdom of Judah and its king, Hezekiah, are about to face the exact same threat. The Assyrian war machine is turning its eyes toward them.
Around 701 BC, the new Assyrian king, Sennacherib, launches this huge campaign into Judah. And he's smart about it. He doesn't go straight for the capital, Jerusalem. He systematically captures all the smaller fortified cities first, basically tightening the noose and isolating the capital. The threat is literally at their gates.
King Hezekiah, seeing exactly what happened to the north, makes a desperate, pragmatic choice. He sends a message of complete and total surrender to Sennacherib. He basically says, "I messed up. Just leave, and I will pay whatever you demand. It's a blank check."
So what is the cost of peace? What's the price of just avoiding total annihilation? Well, Assyria wasn't just a military superpower, it was an economic one. And they knew exactly how to drain a kingdom dry.
Okay, get ready for this. Sennacherib's demand starts with a number that's just staggering: 300 talents of silver.
So what does that even mean? To put that into perspective for you, that is roughly 7.5 tons of pure silver. But he's not done. Oh no. On top of all that silver, he also demands 30 talents of gold.
That's another 1,600 pounds of solid gold. This wasn't just a tax or a tribute. This was an economic blow designed to completely cripple the nation.
So here it is. This is the impossible choice King Hezekiah is facing. Does he trust in God, refuse to pay, and risk the complete and total destruction of these people, just like what happened up north? Or does he bow to political reality and pay a price that will bankrupt his nation?
Hezekiah chooses survival. And to come up with the money, he does something absolutely devastating. He strips everything, not just the royal treasury, but he takes all the silver from the temple itself, the very house of the God he was supposed to be trusting in. It's just this incredibly tense moment between faith and raw political necessity.
It's an incredible story of power, politics, and faith, right? But what makes this just so fascinating is how this ancient text lines up perfectly with modern archaeology. We've actually found Assyrian records, like something called the Taylor Prism, that confirm Sennacherib's campaign against Judah. They even mention the tribute he got from Hezekiah. We have these incredible stone carvings, the Lachish reliefs, that literally show us the Assyrian siege. And when archaeologists dug into the ruins of Samaria, they found destruction layers that date to this exact time period. The story in the book is grounded in the actual dirt of history.
And all of this leaves us with a final question, one that echoes right from Hezekiah's time down to our own. When you're facing overwhelming power, when the odds are just impossible and everything is on the line, where do you draw that line between doing what you have to do to survive and compromising the very things you claim to believe in?